Hey, it's Mr. Cass, Mr. Pate, whatever you want to call me. Hey, I'm the one who ran from the law for what, 15 years. There's a lot of inboxes that I get, people asking me, how did I do what I did? One of the questions I always get is about the car ring. How did I manage to put together this car ring, and how did I steal cars? Who did I meet? Things like that. Well, I'm going to give you guys a breakdown of exactly how that all went down, because I know a lot of you guys are out there just scratching your head like, what exactly happened? So, if you haven't tuned into the channel before, you know that I was in law for 15 years, living under different names, living in different countries. I did a lot of stuff, pretty much catch me if you can style, all right? Ended up pretty much getting caught, and that was it after that. But now I'm a free man. I'm doing what I'm doing. And while I was actually on the run, I wasn't like committing crimes. I was actually out opening my own businesses. I even went to college. I did a lot of stuff. So I'm basically going to tell you about the journey of, or I should say, what led me to getting in trouble, okay? So, I basically started a car theft ring. Now, let's get to the basics of how it all started. So, I was working a regular job, a 9 to 5 job, whatever, right? I was working for this company, MCI. One day we show up to work, everybody gets laid off. MCI went through a bunch of trouble, money laundering, all kind of stuff.
Bernie Ebbers, remember him? He's the former CEO of WorldCom who oversaw one of the biggest corporate scandals ever. Today, a judge ordered his early release, something we told you was being considered. Scott Cohn is at the courthouse in New York for us tonight.
He presided over one of the biggest corporate scandals in history, an $11 billion accounting fraud at WorldCom. And for that, Bernard Ebbers was sentenced back in 2005 to 25 years in prison.
Anyways, so we get laid off. So at home, I had a son. He was pretty much just born. I had a woman at home. We were sitting there wondering, like, what the hell are we going to do next? I didn't know. So I already had one felony on my record for pawning a TV that was stolen. I didn't even know it was stolen. So, like, check the other videos, other episodes. I explain that too. I can even get in a little more detail about that if you guys wish. Just let me know. Comment below if anything you want to know, all right? So anyway, I couldn't find another job. It was hard. I can go get work at McDonald's, but they're not paying enough. So I ran into a friend. The friend's like, hey, I know this guy. He's looking for somebody to do some dirty work. And I was like, well, what kind of dirty work? He was like, well, it involves cars. And I know you love cars. Well, see, I was a big car guy. I love cars, whatever, right? So like, he's like, it involves cars. I'm not sure exactly what it involves, but I think it involves stealing them. I'm not sure, but you might want to meet up with him because he's paying some good money. So at first I was like, nah. Went back home, thought about it. I'm looking at rent. Rent's coming up, in 2 weeks. Like, what the hell am I going to do? I ain't got no money to pay rent. So I'm like, all right, let me call this guy. Now, this is back when they had pagers, whatever, right? Page the guy. The guy calls me back. He tells me to meet him somewhere. So I meet him at this bar. Now, this is out in Colorado. I got in trouble in Colorado Springs exactly. But he had me meet him in Denver, Colorado, in this area of Aurora, actually. So I meet him in this bar in Aurora. When I meet him, very intimidating guy. I mean, very intimidating. He was basically like 6'2", 6'3", white guy, bald head, had tattoos on his sleeves, on his hands. He spoke with an accent. Right away, I was like, this guy's Russian. Russian mafia. So starts talking to me, doesn't shake my hand. I remember holding my hand out, didn't even shake it. I was scared. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I was kind of scared. So the guy gives me a breakdown, kind of at first. He basically tells me he needs me to go out and grab a couple vehicles from some dealerships. Now these dealerships are pretty much all back in my area of Colorado Springs. He says if you can grab these cars, these dealerships, bring them to hidden locations, we will pay them or pay you for them. So I said, all right. I said, how much? He said, it depends on, what the car is. But, he goes up to 1,000, up to 1,500, whatever it is. This depends on what the car is. So I said, all right, pretty much deal. So he goes, go back home. He goes, follow the instructions when you get the instructions. I asked him, well, how am I going to get these instructions? He told me, well, you're going to get them. Don't worry. So I go home a day and a half later. Now remember, we had pagers, so two-way pagers actually. So I get a two-way page. Now a two-way pager was almost like texting, but it was on a pager. People can text you a full sentence and things like that, or I should say page it to you. So I open up my two-way pager, and it tells me to go to this car dealership that is in Colorado Springs, which I'm already living at. Get there around this time of night and look for the lockbox hanging off this particular car. So, all right, get to the dealership. I get there. Now I'm looking at these cars. Now, at the time, dealership was already closed. There were still some workers there, but it was closed pretty much to people trying to buy cars. So it was like maybe not 9 o'clock at night or something like that. But people were still there. So I'm walking around a dealership, walking around trying to be sneaky and incognito. Well, ours, and I see a blue plastic box pretty much sitting right on the hood where the windshield wipers are. So I get the box, open it up. Sure enough, there's a key inside. So I'm like, this must be the key for the car. Unlock it. Unlocks the car, starts it right up. So what do? I drive right off. Now, he didn't give me directions on where to take the car. So I take the car pretty much back home, parking in the parking lot. I'm living in an apartment building. Parking in the parking lot. There's no assigned parking or nothing. So I park it in the back, and I'm like, well, what do I do with this car next? So car's sitting there all night. I get home. I cannot sleep. I'm like, damn, I just think I just stole this car. What's going on? I can't sleep at all. So the next morning, wake up at I think 6:30 in the morning to another page. Now this page is giving me this address. The address is actually up in Denver. So Denver is about 45 minutes, an hour, depending on how you're driving from Colorado Springs. Even a little past that. Just depends on how you're driving, right? And depends on the part of Denver. So get in the car, start driving up. It's kind of a bad part of Denver. So I get to this part. It's like an abandoned factory. I see some cars around. It almost looks like an auto body shop. I'm not sure. So get there, pull up in the car. There's a gate. Somebody actually opens the gate up for me. I drive the car in. He closes the gate right behind me. So I get out the car. Sure enough, the Russian that I met comes out. When he comes out, he pretty much goes, good job, gives me an envelope, puts his hand out like this pretty much. His hand is put out. So I'm like, he must want the key. So I gave him the key, put it in his hand. He gives me the envelope, take the envelope, and he goes, follow instructions. That's all he said to me. And walks back. They open the gate. I leave the gate. Okay. Open up the envelope. Nearly $1,000 in there. So I'm like, wow. Just, okay. I can do this. If I did this every day for the next week, I can get 7,000, 10,000, whatever it is, dollars they're paying for these cars, right? I'm like, that's pretty good money. So 2 days later, my pager rings again, right? Open it up. It's to go to another dealership in Colorado Springs again. This time it's for 2 vehicles, not 1 but 2. So I'm like, great, how am I going to get both these vehicles out at the same time? So I have a friend of mine. I actually go recruit him because I know he was going through some hard times. I'm like, hey, can you want to help me? And I'm going to pay you some money, man. So at first he wasn't with it. Then he was like, yeah, let's do this. So I recruit him. We go to the dealership. Pretty much the same thing. It was really easy. So easy. You just walk into the dealership. The boxes are right there. Open it up. Jump in the car. Take the car. And then you leave. Keep the car pretty much overnight. I got another page in the morning. We take it to another place. And he's there again. The Russian guy is there again. Now let me tell you, this Russian guy was nobody to play with. Even he had a jacket on. And I remember when he was reaching in his jacket to get the envelope, you can see the handle of a gun right there. So, he looked like the top that would shoot you right there on the spot. That's what he looked like. So, hands me another envelope. I give my friend some money. I break him off. Here, take some of this or help me drive. he's all in now. Now he's like, when can we do this again? So that was how it started. It started out with one car, then it went to two. I recruited my friend. Now, for me recruiting my friend, I ended up recruiting, it was about, two more people. It ended up being four of us total, right? We did this for months.
Want to make extra sure that your favorite set of wheels is locked up. Auto thefts, they're on the rise in the Springs, according to the FBI.
Car thefts are on the rise in Colorado Springs.
It is the fastest growing crime in Colorado Springs. News 5 investigates found cars are being stolen across the city at a staggering rate.
Investigative reporter Patrick Nelson digging into the numbers tonight. He's in studio to look at what's fueling the problem. And more importantly, Patrick, what can we do about this?
Robin Elizabeth, every year for the past 6 years, the number of cars stolen in Colorado Springs has increased. We found out in about half of the recent crimes, people made mistakes that provided an opportunity for criminals.
Man, it was crazy. It was crazy. Now, let me tell you something. These dealerships, right? They never really told me, but I kind of realized that these dealerships were in on it. They were in on it. They were. So I don't know if they were doing this for a tax write-off. I don't know exactly what was going on with, how they were in on this, but they were in on this because how else are these cars going to be set up like that? You say you got 100 cars on the lot, but only 2 or 3 of them got the key on a hood. And those are the 2 or 3 that we were told to get. So obviously, some sort of inside connection was going on, some sort of inside job. So to this day, I don't know exactly what, but I know it was inside. So ended up getting 3 more people. Now it's 4 of us. We're doing this for months, man. I'm making good money. I'm making thousands of dollars, all right? I'm talking about, daily, weekly. It is going good. I'm sending money back to my family in different states. I'm partying every night with this money, actually, too, because I was young, early 20s. I'm using this money to party. We're going to clubs, strip clubs. I'm getting bottles. I'm just living the life. I'm actually hanging out in the streets every night. It just took over me, all right? So eventually we're doing this for months. So it got to the point where some of the people I recruited started getting carried away with it. I'm talking about as in, it started getting dangerous. So I remember we got this one guy. He was already hot, wanted for the police for a bunch of stuff. He ended up taking the car, but when he took the car, he didn't take it to where it was supposed to go. We ended up keeping it longer because it was a brand new BMW. He wanted to keep the BMW, so he ended up taking it, keeping it for like a few days or whatever it was. Got into a fight at a club, ended up getting a shootout with that car as well. Now, I wasn't with him. All I know is I get this page the next day, and guess who's paging me? Yeah, the Russian guy. And he's paging me, basically telling me some sort of way he found out about this. And he's like, hey, you need to slow these people down. You need to slow down or else. And that's how he says, or else. Well, else what? My family? What's going to happen? So, like I said, this guy was scared. I didn't want to be on the bad side of him. So, after that, I had to get a little meeting. Hey, you guys got to slow it down. You got to stop. So, did they listen to me? Yeah, for a little bit, right? So, at that time, I realized, hey, it's getting really hot around here. It's getting hot. I got to stop. We get to the part, like I said, where we're doing cars. I'm talking about numbers. We're doing pretty good. I'm talking about really, really good. So we end up stopping. Well, I should say I end up stopping for a little bit. And when I stop, I tell them, y'all can keep going. I actually hand my pager over to one of the people that I recruited. Here, you can take over. I grabbed some of the money I made. I dipped. I left state or whatever, right? I left state. I'm gone. Now, those guys kept going, and then they recruited even more people. That was their downfall. They recruited even more. They got reckless. I'm talking about really reckless. One guy got even involved with some sort of hostage situation to where he had people kidnapped in their house with a home invasion, burnt them up or something like that. one of the kids used one of the cars they were stealing to go rob a bank, literally robbed a bank with it. Another person ended up in some sort of murder triangle pretty much. I mean, it got really out of hand. And now, remember, I'm not even around. I left and I'm out of state. They're doing all this stuff, and I don't even know that they're doing this stuff at the time. Later on, I end up finding out that they're doing this stuff. There's nothing I can do. They're doing it on their own. One of the kids, I think, was only like 17. He got tried as an adult, actually. He ended up getting a lot of time. I think he got like 70-something years. I'm not sure, but he got a lot of time or whatever. But pretty much that was the start and pretty much the breakdown of how I started the auto theft ring and what happened with that from beginning and then how it went down. After that, I never went back to doing it. Would I do it again? Hell no. That was some of the scariest things I ever did in my life. Now, did it become easy? Did I like doing it? I ain't gonna lie to you. It was a good adrenaline rush. I love to do it. And after a while, it was fun. Think about you taking these brand new cars. Every day you get a brand new car and you're keeping it overnight. Sometimes 2-3 nights. Then you're driving it. Sometimes even far away you're driving these cars to and just dropping them off, Now, did the other people ever get caught? The people I recruited? Yeah, they all pretty much all went down. Did the people above me who recruited me get caught? I don't think so. I don't even know if they're doing the same thing right now. But all I know is, hey, that Russian guy, I ain't seen him since. I don't know what happened to him. Hey, if you're watching this, hey, matter of fact, when I got locked up, I even got some money dropped in my books. I got it was like a couple K dropped on my books out of nowhere. So I always think it was one of them or him. If it was you, thank you, bro. Good looking out, because I didn't tell on you, obviously. So I think that's why you dropped it on me. But now y'all know exactly the details of the auto theft ring. Now I have details of all my stories of everything. It's just that it's so long, so I can break it down in parts. Anything else you guys want to know, remember, subscribe, comment, whatever it is. Also, I'm looking for people to interview on my YouTube channel. If you got an interesting story, I don't care what it is, let me know. We can get a Zoom call going, things like that. Just leave a comment below. Let me know your story. If you were in my situation, what would have done? Also let me know, okay? I respond to everybody, how it's going. Check it out, Fugitive TV. Check out the Instagram, Fugitive TV. My TikTok, Fugitive TV. All right, everything's under the same name. Once again, I hope you guys do good. Please don't take any ideas from the story that I told you about, because it was dangerous, very dangerous. I mean, I could have lost my life. I could have been locked up for life. So anything I'm telling you, pretty much do not follow it. Don't follow it, all right? Learn from my mistakes. That's all I got to say. Learn from my mistakes. So hope y'all doing good. Hope to talk to y'all later. See y'all later. I'm out. Peace.